What's going on YouTube? It's the Ginger Viking Devin here with another video. Now this video idea kind of came to me watching one of my older videos that was, I believe, an S&T Matrix / gear review, which it was like 2-3 videos just slammed into one long video, and it's not a good video. It's a complete cluster truck. So anyway, I'm going to redo the video idea but break it into a couple parts and hopefully have a better execution and better results with the videos. So the first part that I'm going to do is the airsoft guns I own and go into depth on each one in different segments. So this video, the first gun I'm going to go into is probably my most cool, the coolest gun, most coolest, is the MG42. This particular one is S&T Matrix, or S&T Matrix, whatever that name is, but they always confuse me. I don't know. But anyway, that's the brand. It is the cheaper version, or the cheaper brand MG42, but still, they are still an expensive gun at somewhere. I believe this one is still retailing for $700 and going up because they're going out of stock. And the G&G one is like $1,000. So yeah, these are quite the expensive gun to own and to get. But I luckily got mine for free, and no, I'm not sponsored, nor does it mean I am sponsored. Doesn't mean I won't look into sponsors, but no, for real, I'm not sponsored by anybody. It just so happened I went to a swap meet at Ground Zero Airsoft in Wilkie, Connecticut that they were hosting, and a buddy of the original owner had the gun on the table and just was like, free, anybody who wants it can just have it, because I don't want to take it home and my buddy doesn't want it. So I ran up to the box and I was like, free, I'm cheap, so free, okay. I look in the box, there's an MG42 in parts. So I'm like, okay, like I'll take it. And so there was a big bag of screws and gearbox all ripped apart. So I said, what happened? And apparently the original owner wanted to HBA it and found out that that was definitely a taller task than he wanted to take on or was capable of taking on. It turns out that from the research I've done and talking to one or two other owners of MG42s that are HBA'd, is you have to contact Polar Star and they have to build some type of custom air nozzle or air nozzle inlet or something of that sort. Now forgive me, HBA lords, I don't know much about HBAing or HBA guns, so just forgive me on the lack of my knowledge on the terminology. But you got to get a custom part from Polar Star, so that can take 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, plus you got to have the knowledge to do it. So I guess the guy just couldn't do it. So I ended up taking it home, and my original thoughts was, I don't even care if I can get it to work or not as an actual airsoft gun. It should just be cool to have on my wall or sitting in the corner of the room. Like, it's an MG42. Like, who doesn't love an MG42? Maybe the guys on Normandy, but that's not the point here. Everybody loves an MG42, so I figured even if it's just a wall hanger, cool, I'll just keep it as a wall hanger. But turned out Evike actually had something in stock that I needed. Now, I'm going to say that again. Evike actually had something in stock that I needed. Isn't that crazy? I know, that's crazy. But they actually did have a complete drop-in gearbox for this thing for $130. So I bought that immediately with a feeding block for it. And, you know, got the gearbox. And the gearbox was so easy a caveman can do it. I don't know if anybody remembers those commercials. But anyway, it was so easy. Like, literally is just 4 screws, 2 screws here, 2 screws here, drop the gearbox in, and then you put the trigger assembly in, and then bolt it in, or you put the little pin in, and it's good. Everything works. It's so easy. Like, I'm not a very tech-oriented person when it comes to airsoft. I was proud of myself when I flat hopped my M16, so like that's how much of a master tech I am. So I was just happy. It was a super easy install, and I was able to do it. So after that, worked perfectly. Everything was just, it shoots like a laser beam. The barrel starts here, like right about like where the receiver meets it. So the barrel is super long and it ends like here. So the thing just has good accuracy, good velocity. It shoots about 380 to 400. It's super consistent. I mean, yeah, it's a great little, great gun. I do love this airsoft gun. I would recommend it. Definitely not a beginner gun, and definitely not a gun for someone of a smaller build or someone who doesn't want to literally lug around a full metal, heavy ass, maybe like 11-pound gun. Like, you know, that this is something that like you don't want to be like someone super small, because I mean, just even at this, the thing stands to here on me. And like, you know, if you're a smaller child or a smaller person, like, you're going to be running this thing into the ground. You're going to be killing yourself. You're going to be swearing at yourself for buying this gun. So just don't, yes, it's a cool legendary gun from history, but just don't get it if you really can't wield it. Because even I have trouble wielding it sometimes. Like, I'll get into that in a couple minutes on what the troubles I have with it. But yeah, just be aware of what you're getting into. The gearbox is what I believe it's called, a proprietary gearbox. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. This is the gearbox, and yeah, I believe the motor is down in here. Same typical thing. The hop-up, first time I've ever seen one of these types of hop-ups, where right here it actually screws into the gearbox, and then it's got like this little slider. I don't know if anybody knows anything more about these types of hop-ups or what they're called, or you know, any type of information just helps, and I appreciate that. So just, if you can, drop that in there if you know anything more about those particular style hop-ups. Then you got your feeding tray, where your feeding block sits, and I'll grab that and just show you what that looks like. I'll show you up close in a second what it looks like, but just the feeding block sits in like that, and you're good to go. So other than that, everything on here is all metal. Almost all. I don't have, you know, everything opens, the barrel exchanger door, whatever you want to call it. The two things I don't have that it's supposed to come with is obviously the bipod. I don't have the bipod. If you have one for sale, whether it's real steel or the one from Airsoft, please contact me. I'd love to make a deal, a trade, something, because I am looking for one. And then the other thing, it's slipping my mind now, but it'll come back to me. But the charging handle. I don't have the charging handle. All small stuff. So again, if you guys know someone who has a parts one or just has a broken one or whatever, and it's same brand, just contact me. I'll definitely pay for shipping. We can arrange some type of deal, because it's always good to have parts for my favorite gun in my collection. I can easily say that, my absolute favorite gun. Other than that, I mean, there really wasn't much wrong with the gun. The only thing I've had really go wrong with the gun itself was the connectors that originally came on this from out of the box were absolutely dog crap. After like 2 games of disconnecting it from the winder, the little contacts in there literally came out, and it was just useless. So I had to just go home, cut it down, and then wire crimp on this new connector, so that it could be usable again. Other than that, there's no complaints I have with this thing. I mean, it's an MG42, and it's gorgeous at that. The only other small complaint, I guess, after I just said there's no more complaints, would be the strap. The strap sits pretty weird. You got to remember, this gun is typically not fired from the hip in real life, and it's typically not a shoulder mounted. You're not going to shoulder it up and shoot it, typically. So what happens is the strap is going to be mounted. I'm a little short, a couple inches taller here. You know, I'd work it better. But the strap sits like this, so when you're on a march, you know, you could just be relaxed and be carrying it on a march, on a more sustained trip or march, or, you know, whatever you want to say. So, you know, you can shoulder it, you know, you can get a sight, and the thing is so long anyway that you typically know where your BBs are going to go. But just be advised there, because, and this is the proper way to have it slinged, slung. But right here, there's supposed to be, in the real gun, there's like a pivoting loop that's full metal reinforced that you actually hook in your sling into, and then it hooks up into the front. And that's the way it's actually ran. You can look in pictures, whatever. That's how you're supposed to run it, because it's typically a gun that you'll have in an emplacement, or you'll be defending with it. So typically, when I play at Ground Zero, since it is very wooded and stuff, I'll typically hang back and let my buddy go ahead with an M4 or a rifleman, or somebody who's a little bit more flexible go ahead and take the engagement, and then once I realize where I can start putting fire to help my buddy out, to get him either into cover or out of danger, or whatever we need to do. And yep, I don't have corona, I just coughed because I choked on my own saliva. Just had to throw it out there. Other than that, that's pretty much it. It pretty much sums up the whole MG42. Just to go in quickly, because I kind of want to keep it a shorter video. The feeding block, just a little 3D printed block, but you need to get one if you want to be able to run the gun. The drum mag is the bane of every Airsoft LMG's existence. So usually it's always something, either the winder or the connectors or something. But I've gotten pretty used to this one, and I know its quirks. When I first got it, somebody must have either cranked the screw into, like, cranked it way too hard for the winder. Because inside here, right in there, there's the winder, and there's a screw that holds the winder in there into a plastic inlet. And he must have, or she must have tightened it to ungodly amount to where it's stripped out. So anytime you'd have a cylinder full of the BBs, it would just, you'd hear the motor and you'd be like, why isn't it feeding? It's because it was just stripping out. So to fix that, I just put some fucking Gorilla Glue in there and Gorilla Glue it, and then I sat it like this so it wouldn't get into the feeding mechanism. And then I came back, tried it the next day, and next game, and it was feeding like a champ. No issues after that. I typically always remove it takes 4 AA's. I typically always remove the AA's after a game, just so you don't have any explosions of batteries, and that'll be a reason why this thing would be shelved. But I typically remove the batteries. But when you do remove the batteries, don't be like me and forget your batteries. Always keep a pair. I run a rucksack whenever I don't run it in the game, but I take all my gear to the, I leave it in the back of my car, but I carry all my stuff and an Alice pack. So just throw in like 8 batteries just to be safe. And other than that, that's pretty much it with the winder. Also, I forgot, I'll go back to here real quick just to show you the battery placement. There's a little button here. You press that, tilt it out, rotate it, and then pull it out. Comes with a small Tamiya connector. You can easily fit a LiPo in there. That's an 11.1. I run nickel hydrate in it, the 9.7 nunchuck style, and it fits in there perfectly. So good space for batteries. You can typically run what you want. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you stuck around and kind of listened to me ramble a little bit. But please leave a like, a comment, even if the comment is just giving me some constructive criticism on something I could do better. If my audio was bad, or if my angles were weird, or my lighting, let me know. I am doing it on an iPhone. It's just me. I'm doing all my own editing. So if you know a better program, if you know something, tips, anything, just be cool about it. Be nice, and I'm definitely open. My ears are open. I'm always trying to get better. I want to get more videos out. I want to engage with more people who, if you have any questions about the gun, or if you know anything about this particular one, please do comment in there. I want as many people to share their stories, even if it's a cool story like about your buddy came out slinging BBs like a badass with it or something. I want to hear stories. I want constructive criticism. Whatever you guys want, just leave a comment in there, and definitely leave a like. Anyway, guys, it's been Spartan, the Ginger Viking, Devin. I got so many nicknames. I'll see you in the next one.